Okay, this is kind of like a part two from the previous video. I have this web page over here, and we've got JavaScript that gives us a little bit of pre-validation. And I'm not going to go over the code for that. I'm just going to show you the difference between these files on my desktop in a folder and these exact same files using my xampp. Now if you see down here at the bottom right of my screen, this orange icon, this is my xampp control. This is what I've downloaded and it's free to allow you to practice PHP, which is the server-side script that I briefly talked about in the previous video. JavaScript again is for the client computer, and the client computer you could think of as like the customer computer, and the server computer you could think of like the business computer. So if I wanted to go on Walmart website and order something online, my computer at home would be the client computer, and the Walmart main business computer that takes the orders would be the server. Okay, so if you can just think of it like that. So we've got script on my computer, the customer or the client, that kind of validates these boxes to make sure if this business rule says a limit of 3 per household, if they put 6 in and then hit the button, we get this error message, limit 3 per household please. And it does not allow this to go to the next level, which would be to run the PHP script on the server. It stops it right here. Only bad thing about this is JavaScript can be shut off on the client's browser. I can come in here and I could figure out how to shut off the JavaScript. So then this wouldn't do the trick. You would have to further validate on your PHP script. Well, I'm not going to go into the actual PHP script validation. I'm going to go over a couple of things here about the form action, how it links how this action word links to another file, and I'm going to go over method. There's a post and there's a get. And then I'm going to open up these exact same files, the test.html and the catalog.php, that I've also copied and pasted and put inside computer, the C drive, xampp, and then the htdocs folder. Because when you test out your server using xampp, you're supposed to put all that stuff in your htdocs. That way you can use the address bar instead of, if you look up here, you see file colon // and then users and zipper and desktop and JavaScript and blah blah blah. It's not going to say that, it's going to say localhost, and then it's going to point to those files that are in the xampp htdocs folder. I'm not doing that right now, but I'm just giving you a foreshadowing of what I'm going to do. Currently, this test.html and this catalog.php and this next.html, all these folders reside on my desktop in this folder called JavaScript Step by Step. See, there's test.html, there's next.html, and there is catalog.php. So I'm just going to show you the difference between these exact same code files just run straight off of your desktop through the browser, and then I'm going to show you how they're a little bit different when you're using something like xampp and putting it on your C drive in xampp folder in the htdocs folder and using localhost. Okay, let me, if I haven't confused you too much. Test.html. Okay, I'm not going to go over this because I did it in the previous video. But we have form name equals catalog form, ID equals catalog form, action equals catalog.php, method equals post. In the previous video, I had no file at all called catalog.php. So if I misspell this by putting a Z in front of it and save, and then refresh my page, let's first test if we go over the limit 3 per household. Now this is JavaScript. So if I hit place order, we get this red error list item, limit 3 per household, please. Now the business rules are limit 3 per household, so 1, 2, and 3 will work. So if I put in 3 and hit place order, we get this alert that says you ordered 3 blades of grass. We're placing your order now. Now when I click OK, it's going to attempt to link in this action to zcatalog.php, which there is no such thing as zcatalog.php. So I click OK. Your file was not found. See, this is the way it functioned in the video before this one. However, after that video, let me spell this right, I created this, which is a PHP script that I got from another project, where this basically tested your PHP functionality. Now, this is not being used through localhost. This file is not inside of our xampp htdocs folder. So this is going to be what this code looks like just simply through the browser, through the test.html linking to it. Okay, so let me go back here to the original page. Let me refresh that page. Now when I click 3 and I hit place order, I get my alert box that says you ordered 3 blades of grass. We're placing your order now. Now when I click OK, it's actually going to point to this catalog.php. So click OK. Now, it basically just regurgitated the code that you see here. This is not how PHP is supposed to work. You're not supposed to see these symbols. You're not supposed to see the word echo. You're not supposed to see that PHP symbol. So this is basically not how this works, because PHP is supposed to be on server side. But just to show you what it does through the browser connections, this is what it does. Okay. Now, if I go back to the original page, the test.html, I showed you what it looks like if we link it with the action attribute equal to catalog.php. I also created another HTML web page. Very simple. All it's got is a head with a title in it and a body with an h1 header tag. That's all it's got. So let's see what this will do when I hit next. This is the name of this file. Instead of catalog.php, I'm going to click it to next.html. So let's change that action to point to next.html, and we still are using method post. So let's click the refresh page. Let's put in, for the sake of argument, let's go too high again. Let's put in 6. Even though it's a limit of 3, let's put in 6. So we still get our limit 3 per household error message in a list item. Let's go with 3, place order. We get our you ordered 3 blades of grass, we're placing your order now. So our JavaScript is still validating. Click OK, and you see that it's pointed to that page, because that's what that's how this page would show up in a browser. You see the title up here in the browser tab, and you just see this header, and that's all you got. Okay, so let's go back to this again. One more thing I wanted to test. Instead of having the action point to a PHP file, instead of the action pointing to another HTML file, I was kind of curious to see what it would do if I wanted to point to a web page. If I'm online, which I am, and I want to point to a web page, Google, let's see how that works. Okay, so this has been saved in Notepad++. Make sure we refresh the page after the fact. Let's put in 3, anything 1, 2, or 3, so that we don't get the error message and it goes straight to the action. Place order. You order 3 blades of grass. We're placing your order now. Click OK. And it's thinking, and this is what we get. Even though up here in the address it says https ://www.google.com, even though it's saying it in the address bar, we have 405. That's an error. The request method post is inappropriate for the URL. That's all we know. So let's try, instead of method post, let's try get. Save it in Notepad++, go back. Let's run it here. Let's put a number that's too big again. Yes, we still get our error message. That hasn't changed. Let's put a number less than 3 or less. Let's put 1. Hit place order. You ordered 1 blade of grass. We're placing your order now. Click OK. And it's thinking. and it actually hooks us up with the web page. So by using the method get in the form, we can go to another internet web page. Post would not let us do it, but let's go back to what I started with. I just want to show you the action and the method attributes of the form tag and the different things that it could do. So I'm going to click Control Z a couple of times until I get this back to catalog PHP method post. Go back here. Just to be sure, let's refresh the page. One more time, I'm going to put something that's in between 1 and 3. I'm going to put 2, place order, alert message, and again, PHP. This is what PHP looks like when we're not using something like xampp. It just basically spits the code out. Now, let me shut this down. Let me shut all these down. And instead of opening the page this way on the desktop in this folder called JavaScript Step by Step, you see down here at the bottom I already have the xampp on. The xampp control is on. I can double click this and show you that it indeed is running. Apache is green and MySQL is green. So my xampp control is running, and it's only going to quit if I hit the quit. So I could actually hit this X button and you still see it, it's still running. If I click it again, see, it's still running. So you could X out, just don't click quit. Okay, now I want to show you where these other files are, just so you know where they are. I go to Computer, C drive. All the way at the bottom here I have xampp, and then htdocs. I have test.html. I'll right click it, hit it, edit with Notepad, just so that you see. It's just a copy of the folder, so the folder is in 2 different places, but this is how we're going to use it here. And then my PHP file is called catalog.php. Okay, right click that, hit edit with Notepad. Okay, this is slightly different in that I've commented out a couple of things, and I will show you the reason behind that as I go along in this video. Alright, so we have the test HTML and the catalog PHP, but it's in a different area. It's in the C drive, xampp, htdocs. Let me close out of that, and here I have them open in Notepad++ just to show you things as I go along. Let me open up Google Chrome browser. Now we're going to point to these files in a different way. Because I have this xampp control running, I can go up here in my address bar and hit localhost / and test is in my htdocs folder. So I just have to put localhost / test.html. Not this thing, it's already test.html, and click enter. Mouse there. The reason you don't see the image right here is because I didn't copy and paste the image in the htdocs folder as well, and I should have done that, but because I didn't, you see the alt text. The alt equals Steve's lawn is dead. This is the alternative text when you're not correctly pointing to your image file. Alright, so this is what the page looks like inside using localhost, because we have xampp on our computer and it's also on and running. Let's test the JavaScript. Let's put on an amount greater than 3 and see if that works. So we put in 6, place order. Now this is very confusing to me because it went straight to the catalog.php anyway. It did not give me it didn't give me my JavaScript error message, so I'm kind of confused about that. If I put in 3, I guess it's going to give me the same thing. So it's pointing to the catalog.php. Congratulations, your server can process PHP. Here you can view the PHP configuration on your server. What it's doing, let me look at the catalog PHP. In these PHP tags right here, we have an echo, and the echo is creating an h1 tag, which is a header of level 1. Congratulations, your server can process PHP. I'm kind of confused about why the H Oh, and the H3 is smaller. Okay, here you can view the PHP configuration on your server. Smaller tag, here you can view the PHP configuration on your server. Now, I have PHP Info function commented out, and I have the exit function commented out. So what happens is it does these two echoes, but then it bleeds straight into this H1 tag that says sorry, PHP is not enabled on this server, which you see right here, which is the same size because it's an H1. Here we're echoing an H1. Here we actually create the H1 tag. And then here we have the H3, which is the same size as this one. And it says check your host provider documentation or contact your host provider to ask them how to enable PHP. If we don't want this that's outside of the PHP tag to bleed out and run, I would take the comment off of exit. Now when I save this and I go back and I refresh this page, I guess I can put any number in here since it's not obeying my original JavaScript. I hit place order. Congratulations, your server can process PHP. Here you can view the PHP configuration on your server. So you see the way it's pointing, localhost /catalog.php. This exit is exiting out of, I guess, the catalog.php script in general, so all of this stuff gets ignored. I hope I'm explaining this nicely. If I take this PHP Info function and take the comment off of that, let me go back and refresh this page again. I guess I can put any number I want since, again, that JavaScript's not working. Place order. And now it takes us to the PHP info that we're getting based on this xampp thing. So congratulations, your server can process PHP. Here you can view the PHP configuration on your server. So it did those two echoes. And the PHP info is right here, PHP version 7.0.9. If I open this up some more, you can just go down and just read all that stuff, which I don't know how to explain what all that stuff is, but basically it's letting you know that the xampp is working and I am able to run PHP. So I'm able to test some PHP script. Let me get back there, go back. Again, let's see what happens if I have the PHP info and don't take the exit off. If after all that PHP information, if I still get these two messages. Let's just see. It's all a big test. Let's refresh the page. Let's put any old number in there. Place order. Congratulations. But I want to see if these two are showing after all this stuff. And it is. Sorry, PHP is not enabled on this server. That's this one. That's this H1 tag. And then the H3, check your host provider documentation or contact your host provider to ask them how to enable PHP. So we got all that information, and again, if you don't want this stuff to show, you got to make sure you exit before the end of your PHP tag. So if I put the exit back, none of this should show up. So let's refresh this. And go to the end. Oh, actually we're already at the end. You see the H1 and the H3, these down here, they're not showing. The only thing it's showing is the end of this PHP info information with this purple background stuff that came installed with xampp. And it did show these echoes. If I wanted to put another echo up here to show at the top, I could say echo, and then we have to put it in double quotes. And let's put it in a, I don't know if that's going to work, a list item without a ordered or unordered list. My name is Lisa. Let's see what that does. Out of curiosity. Refresh, continue. My name is Lisa. So see, it gave me a list item with a bullet point. All those echoes just basically spit out some information. And the PHP Info basically pulled up this whole PHP version. The exit keeps us from spitting this information out, anything outside of the PHP tag. My curiosity is how to open my test.html, which is going to deal with the Java side, the JavaScript client side, validation before it goes to the PHP, because I shouldn't be able to put any number higher than 3 here. I should, when I hit place order, I should get that error message. Instead, it's just going straight in. So there's something else for me to figure out. Now, one thing I could fix before I get out of here is I can copy and paste that image. So go in here, and what is my image anyway? It's this grass.jpg. Let's copy it, and let's go into computer, C drive, go into xampp, go into htdocs, right click and paste. See, so now grass JPEG is there. So now when I go back and refresh this page, there's my image. And I also have the title that says some grass when I float over top of it. The only thing now I have to figure out is how to keep my JavaScript. I guess I have to figure out how to point from my client part, which I suppose would be maybe on my desktop, how to point from the client file to the PHP file that's inside of the xampp htdocs folder. That's probably what I need to figure out how to do next. So whenever I figure out how to do that, I will make one more.